Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Old Hilltop Pimlico Racecourse. And today at the races, I'm Tim Tulloch, joined by Keith Fustel on Kentucky Derby Day. Keith, how you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. Beautiful day here in Baltimore. Loving life here at Pimlico. Derby Day, as you said. Preakness a couple weeks around the corner, and the wind has died down. We've got a gorgeous day for racing.
A nice day of racing on tap for this afternoon, including the Kentucky Derby later. And speaking of the Derby, we have a wagering guide board that First Bet put out. There's a free Derby wager guide, picks and strategies from the experts. Download it at First Bet app, on the First Bet app. And one of the handicappers is our own Naomi Tucker there, Keith.
There you go. Let's see what she's got. Did she release a pick? I did not get her a pick, I don't think.
So. In the Derby?
Yeah.
I had it, but now I don't remember.
All right, we'll get it later, maybe.
We'll get it. Yeah. We'll get it later.
All right.
Also, the Derby Oaks money back board. This is an important one here. Full card money back special. Get your cash back up to $10 when you win. When your win bet finishes second or third in all races at Churchill Downs. That was available yesterday. Yeah. It's available again today.
If you missed it yesterday, get on it today.
Don't
get shut out.
No doubt about that. As you mentioned, the weather is very nice out there. Out there, as you see, the green, the course is really green. The track is fast, and the wind is dying down. What's the temp out there?
53. In the sun, it feels like about 70. It's perfect out here on these terrace box seats. I love it. One of the best spots you can watch a race here at Pimlico. Yeah, the turf, good. We're back on. I mean, turf is firm, but we're back on the turf this afternoon.
Yes, we are. And speaking of the terrace box seats, it's one of the best spots to watch a race at any racetrack in America.
No doubt.
You're right on top of the action. I mean, there's nothing better.
Yep, I agree.
Nothing
completely.
better. Well, we've got a lot to get into, so let's get started with race one, which kicks off the early pick 5. 50-cent minimum, 12% takeout on the early pick 5. Mandatory payout races 1 through 5. Race 1 is a claiming event, $16,000 tag, non-winners of 2, going 3/4 of a mile. And Keith, you and I both. It's going to be a rough day.
Nah.
All right.
It's all right.
It's amazing that they don't know what I'm doing right now. It's shocking to me. But anyway, you have the 6 on top, Delaney's filly for Ben Perkins, Forest Boyce Roy. It's coming off a little bit of a layoff.
Hey, first jock I saw today walking in the door, Forest Boyce. There's the hunch play of the day. 9-2 on the morning line. We've got a scratch of the one. Great call. She's going to come down off of that. I tell you what, the Perkins horses do attract. I know we're 59 minutes away from post. They always attract a lot of early money. This horse is going to float up. Great call. Some of the speed comes out. I thought we were going to get a little bit more of a pace here with Great Calls and Ranch Yard going at it. But Delancey's filly off a little freshening, training forwardly. I like this move back to the sprint, can drop in, settle, and make a run from off the pace.
And the 3, a Rockstar Gal, is my top pick for Timothy Salzman. This one's turning back to a sprint today, but she does have some good sprint races on her form.
Absolutely. Her numbers work on the go back, but 1 for 29. That's the biggest concern. A Rockstar Girl, I'm sure, would have liked to see Great Calls stay in the race, but just has to kind of hold true to like that mid-50 number, and she probably gets over the top here this afternoon. Going to have to deal with Fearless Lassie off the win, breaking that maiden for 25 last time. But Ranchar's pretty quick, and Ranchar, going back to that race, I'm going to use this horse at a little bit of a price into the mix. Got off a little bit funky last time out. Had to rush up into it. Dual has back numbers to work as well at this distance. But I'm going to key around Delancey's filly here in the opener. Tim Salzman, though, he's loaded here in the first 2.
He certainly is. In the 4, Fearless Lassie, just perfectly spotted. 4, Claudio Gonzalez, breaking her maiden before the 25, in for the 2 for 16. It doesn't get much better than that when you're talking about spotting horses. Race 1, 6-3 for Keith, 3-4 for myself.
Okay.
As we move to race 2, a maiden $25,000 event, going 3/4 of a mile for straight 3-year-olds. This kicks off the Super High 5. No carryover from yesterday. It also kicks off the early pick 4. And, Keith, you put us together a ticket.
Little ticket here, $18 ticket, 3 deep to get you started. The 2, 4, and 5. Ink going to be my top selection there. Race 3. Spread a little bit there as well. Tweet Away Robin, Calypso Ghost. Price user here, Princess Georgia, rooting for Allison Delgado, former Allison Principe. See if she can get in there at a price. We're going to single in race 4, the 5. It's known as the Burn. I've got a stat for that one. A key scratch out of race 4. Your morning line 8-5 favorite Communicator is out. Race 5. 1, 3, 7, 11. Tough little race there. Race 5, tough to separate a bunch of horses. La Castiglione off of that tough trip at Parks is going to be my top selection. Going to come down, I believe, off of that 12-1 line that I had. $18 for your ticket. Let's take a look at the second.
Let's take a look at the
All right.
second. As I mentioned, a maiden $25,000 event. And you have the 2 Inc. on top for Hammy Smith. Had a pretty good debut after having a little bit of a rough start and then was wide. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a bad race.
No, not at all. The figure certainly works against these. This horse took a lot of play for a Hammy Firster. Hammy Firsters just don't get pounded like that at the window. This is a 9-horse field. Horse was bet down to 5-2. Sloppy track, a little excuse there, a bumper at the break, a wide kind of middle move into it, and a little flattening. I think Inc. can definitely move up. Second career start, we see that angle about 13% for Hammy. So let's try this one right back, second out.
I'm going to go with a first-time starter with the 6, Bob Man for Gary Capuano. Look, it's working well. A nice 5/8 of a mile work at Laurel, April 7th, a minute and change. But well entered, and I just don't know what. I didn't love anybody in the race, so I ended up going with a Bob Man, first-time starter for Gary Capuano, getting his main man, Victor Rosales, aboard. 2-4 for Keith in race 264 for myself. Timothy Salzman with Lad Needs a Handler. Could be pretty tough in there also.
Absolutely. Because Little Bo Bandit looks like the speed of the speed. Lad Needs a Handler, kind of that stalk and pounce kind of move. They look maybe like the 2. I mean, 2 key horses in here. And you're talking about it with a first that Gary Cap has and Bob Man and even this 3-horse Agita for Jeremiah Dwyer. They don't catch a killer field right off the bat. So I'm interested to see this 3-horse when he hits the turf as well. You're looking at that family real quick on the notes. This horse, Agita, the mare was good, 3 for 10. I said best on turf. Full Bro to top seed, who was a really good horse, ran upwards of a 90. That was a Phipps horse. So yeah, take a look at that one maybe down the road when it hits the grass.
We'll take a look at race 3, going 3/4 of a mile. This is a starter $5,000 race. And, Keith, you have the 1 Tweet Away Robin on top. Had a rough go in the last start, but the 3 previous starts were good efforts.
Yeah, good enough for me. And even at the 6 furlongs, I know she's 1 for 4. I think the flow is going to be just right. She needs to come away cleanly. Tweet Away Robin's kind of that horse that likes to just lay close and grind it out through the stretch. She catches the field with some speed just to her outside. Calypso Ghost, they kind of, they're having a good rivalry going. That there's Gold with plenty of speed. Interesting horse. Morning line favorite, Sammy Sunshine. I just don't know what she's going to do not being able to get that easy flow up top. She's not going to have as easy as a time as she's had in her last couple races. Can she pass horses? Because I don't think she's nearly as fast early as Calypso Ghost in Dat There's Gold. So can she handle the pressure?
Now, I agree with that. And that's why I didn't use that one on top. We also like the 4 Princess Georgia coming off a layoff for Allison Delgado. We're going to take a look at her race from February 26th. We're going to pick it up at the quarter pole.
Yeah, scored at a big price, 25-1. And you're looking for a horse like this to come back and run this kind of number again. Maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but I like how Allison has given this horse a little bit of a break. Albert got along with us perfect, settled beautifully off of a slightly contested pace early, swung out in the clear, and really leveled off well. Look at that on a correct lead through the stretch, gains command inside the 16th pole, and goes clear. A good work leading up to this, kind of a similar pattern into that last race. So, yeah, there's enough speed to target. Princess Georgia comes back to that 65, even a 60 buyer. And she's going to be dangerous in here with all this pace in front of her.
No doubt about that. I have the 5 Dat There's Gold on top. She may be a tad better on a track with moisture, but she's pretty tough when she gets to the front end.
Yeah, she's had a bad break a couple races back, had to go into the pace. She's a stayer. She doesn't necessarily need to lead. I've seen her come from a little bit further off of it if needed as well. So, yeah, in good form, Dat There's Gold.
She certainly is 1-4 for Keith. As we move on to race 4, 3 lifetime event, $5,000 is the tag, mile and a 16th, and we're going to start With the 5, it's known as a burn for Hugh McMahon, and we're going to kick it off with a stat that you
Yeah.
pulled up on Hugh McMahon.
Yeah, I was hoping the favorite stayed in. Now it just kills our price. The 8 communicator is out. It's known as the burn is going to come down considerably in price. But how about this stat for Hugh McMahon? The last 3 years on the dirt, 4 for 9. I know we're got a smaller sample, 44%, 7 for 9 in the money. First after the claim and back in for the nickel. ROI 248. Not a ton of speed in here. Persevered has got some to the inside. It's known as the burn. The Lasix is back on. I think this is a big move here. A good train of change can maybe prompt the pace or go right to the front in race 4. You've got some horses that kind of like to come from deeper, well back in the field. I think this horse gets an advantage, can maybe separate around that final turn.
He's been working well for this return. First off the claim, as you mentioned, that stat, but overall, Hugh McMahon about 23% first off the claim. I have the 3 Political on top. Comes in here off a lifetime best for the red hot Miguel Vera.
Yeah, it comes out of a double key race as well. Titans well, Big Rennie coming back to win. Distance not an issue, particularly against this field. Looks like your best quote-unquote closer in the group at the distance. Yeah, I think that one's the main threat to my top selection.
That sums up race 4 pretty well here this afternoon. We'll move on to race 5. Race 5 kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. We do have a little bit of a carryover, $4,874. I put together a ticket for the Rainbow Pick 6 this afternoon. I'll go through it right quick, and like you did on your early Pick 4, I had to spread in race 5, 3, 7, 10, 11. Race 6, 2, 3, 4. 3 deep in race 7, 1, 3, and 7. Race 8, 3 deep again, 2, 3, 7. Race 9, 1, 5, 7. And I single on Claudio Gonzalez in race 10. Bernie's on fire. That is my single, $64.80. You can check out all our tickets. Just go to Pimlico.com and click on to the handicapping section. Race 5. Wow, this race is a little wide open, Keith.
Yes.
There's no doubt about this. This is a maiden 25 event going 5.5 furlongs for maiden fillies and mares, the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, I guess. Yes, no 3-year-olds. Straight 3-year-olds. That messed me up there. Maiden fillies. Okay, let's not worry about it.
Okay.
Let's go to our your
All
top pick, the 7. La Castelloni for Claudio Gonzalez. We have a video of her last race, and it didn't get off well.
No, look at this. This is not a good beginning. Right up in the air, rearing at the brake and spotting the field multiple lengths right out of it. We're going to watch it one more time. Last one in, and sometimes you usually get a good fortune. Not that particular afternoon. That was first off the claim, off a break from February to April, a couple of months. The Lasix comes back on today. La Castiglione actually made up a pretty good amount of ground. You really didn't see it in the running line, but you go back and watch the video, made a little bit of a run in the stretch and continued on well through the gallop out. So it was a willing effort. Yeah, the number has got to kind of come up off of that. I think it will. That's what's going to help your price a little bit. Now, the Claudio factor, yeah, I might have had this one 12. I'll take 8. I don't know if I want to take much less than 8 looking at the rest of these horses. So La Castiglione needs to break clean, and we'll have some flow to target. I like that move into the lane, which means a good break, and this horse should be able to fire home.
I have the 10, no chance given for Mike Trombetta on top, 3-1 on the line. This one's dropping from the maiden special weight and the maiden 40, and this filly ran quite well in both those races.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Thing is, outside, hung out with some other speed inside. Both of Mike's horses, are they going to be able to kind of clear away and separate? That's the key. How much will they have left in the tank if they're hung out 4 and 5 wide past that 3/8 pole to the quarter pole? Interesting. They're going to be shorter prices. I'm going to try to beat them. I'm going to look at the inside with the 1. Pretty happy. First time here in the Lacey Gaudet barn, claimed. Going back over the summer at Colonial, but man, she's good off the claim. Freshening, okay, but I tell you what, this horse has had a lot of excuses in her races. Comes ready to roll, ran a good enough number in debut to catch my eye. I think she's going to show some good speed. Look at that workout, 2 works back over at Laurel Park, half a mile and 47 and change. I think she's going to be ready, protected with the waiver as well. They're protecting this runner. I like it. Let's take a shot here with Pretty Happy as well in the exactas. I'm going to key around the 1 and the 7 in here.
4-1 on the line. Pretty happy. A nice 11-horse field in race 5 to kick off the Rainbow Pick 6. We need to take a quick break,
All
Keith,
right.
but we'll be right back to talk about the late Pick 5.
And they're off. Second in the two-path. Ground on her inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Today at the Races on Kentucky Derby Day. We're going to move to race 6. Race 6 kicks off the late Pick 5. No carryover from yesterday, but always has carryover potential and always well played. Race 6 is the first one of our turf events for the afternoon. This is a state-bred first-level allowance race going a mile and a 16th. Keith, you have the 2 Ben and Joe on top for Hugh McMahon, coming off a big effort, off a little bit of a layoff over a sloppy track going 7/8 of a mile, and taking on the turf for the 3rd time in her life, but she's 1 for 2 on it.
Yeah, she broke her maiden. I went back on her page. I think broke the maiden maybe for 25. I have to go back again and check, but it was a maiden breaking. It was an okay number, and then ran against an okay field after that. But it looks like Ben and Joe is definitely improved, especially numbers wise on the dirt. I think if any kind of improvement carries over to the turf, coming back to the turf against the field that has a lot of deeper closers. Positionally, Ben and Joe should be able to get a good forward trip in here and kind of grind it out through the stretch. He's going to be awfully tough to leave out of the exact. As a horse I like a little bit, Broker's Reward, until I looked at a stat. Mike, 0 for 14, Trombetta the last 3 years, plus 180-day layoff on the turf going long. I didn't like that, but I still think this horse fits against this particular group. We have a video of him, right, going back to last August the 28th at Laurel. It's against a much better field, too. I know this was a state bred, but this had some runners in here. Dundalk, back class, Cannon's Roar. Pick up the 5-horse, Broker's Reward, this afternoon, going past the 5/8, and he's just under a mittful, right under a stronghold. Fortunately, he's just bottled up. You've got a loose leader in Canny Shine, and he's going to end up losing a little momentum. Coming here to the 3/8, we're going to see him steady pretty good. Probably should have put it down as a check right there, giving up a couple lengths as well. And who's getting the dream trip inside there is Cannon's Roar, your eventual winner. He kind of, he recovers here to the quarter, Tim. He goes outside just a little flat. I thought he would have sustained a little bit better than that, but we'll see. He's coming off a 208-day layoff this afternoon. But his turf numbers, they certainly work, and he can bring a run. This is a fair turf course. We saw it last weekend. Horses can settle, rate, and fire home. He's got to be a player.
You would think he's a bit of a player. The 3 for Moultrie comes in from Turfway Park, has never been on the grass before, but is cut out to handle it.
Yeah, you would think. Moser on the top end. Moser was pretty good on the turf, albeit a lot of sprints, right? He was all right miler on the dirt, but Moser looking for his first turf winner. Bottom side is good. Mare, I think, was a winner, maiden special weight winner on the go back at Churchill. Raced in the form, raced against the right kind of 3-year-olds. This isn't a major step for this horse. Can he handle the turf? I think he will. I think you're going to have to use him. He's that stranger that certainly figures. He's not going to be anywhere near those prices that he was in his first 3 races.
Race 6, 2-4 for Keith. We move to race 7. This is a wide open nickel race going 3/4 of a mile. We're going to start with your top pick, the 3 Higher Purpose for Lacey Gaudette. Ty Postina gets the call. Things didn't go well in her last start, but she's getting a little class relief here this afternoon.
Yeah, he's tough at this nickel level. A little surprised at how bad he kind of backed up that last 1/8 of a mile in his most recent start. But coming back kind of quick, a couple scratches out here, the 2 Ticker Tape Parade and the 5 Fastmaster. It's his race to lose again on the front end. Now, granted, you can give him a little bit of an excuse. The 23rd, you wanted to be inside. He was well off the rail and then faltered through the stretch. So coming back quick tells me he might be all right. To the front, see if he can take them wire to wire. The main threats, Extra Medium and Lucky Junior. We have a video of the one, right? Your top
we do.
selection.
Extra Medium, April 24th, his last race here at Pimlico.
Yeah, and we know how well Kieran McGee and company is doing right now. They're hitting on all cylinders. A very good ride. by Carol Cedeno for extra medium. There's a couple good rides the last couple trips he's got it. His inside is going to be able to work and find a seam and get up here over Cobb. Cobb was a pretty good price, I believe, that afternoon, but he's determined. A couple races now. It's off the claim. This is the fourth off the claim. This horse is kind of hedging back to that top number. He's a player here off the pace as well as Lucky Jr. But a shorter field, higher purpose, going to try to control it up front at a very short price.
Extra medium, the one, my top pick. Higher purpose, the 3 for Keith Fustel in race 7 as we move to race 8, mile and 16th. 4 3-year-olds claiming price $25,000. Keith, you have the 7. We both have the 7.
Yeah.
We're exactly the same here. U.S. Constitution on top for Jamie Ness, a winner of Parks in his last race with a lifetime best.
Yeah, scratch the 1, Dr.
Yep.
Ferber out of this, who looked like he had a little shot in here, but it's a tricky little race. I thought getting through. Ghost Talker off the claim, just couldn't get it done at 2-5 last time. Sir Lenny's that X-Factor type. Is he going to break good and carry that speed? I think he's going to be around a while today. But U.S. Constitution, what got me over the top here was his stat. This horse was running okay numbers. Keys up against the right kind of Nomadi, a horse we're very familiar with. He was very tough at the $40,000 level. Big jump in Beyer last time. Now look at this stat I came up with. The past 3 years on the dirt, going long. Maiden winners, okay? 9 for 20. 45% with an ROI of 280 for Jamie Ness. That kind of speaks volumes. And looks like he jumped up and really kind of everything clicked last time. He should just kind of get that stalking trip just off of Sir Lenny.
And the 3 Luxero for Claudio Gonzalez. This will be second time off the claim. I think this horse is eligible to improve here this afternoon. Second off the claim for Claudio.
Agreed. Chased the horse last time. I expected, especially with that kind of move up. This is the right level for him coming back.
Race 8, interesting route event for $25,000 3-year-olds as we move to race 9, the second of our turf events this afternoon, going 5/8 of a mile. This is for fillies and mares started for 16 or less in the last 3 starts. Our claiming price $25,000. We're going to kick it off with a video that includes both the 1 Foggy Dreams and the 7 Bath and Tennis. And you can pick up from here, Keith.
Yeah, first trainer I saw today, Chuck DeMario, right? So there's another one you've got to use. I've got Forest Boys, Chuck DeMario. Bath and Tennis this day was able to control it up front. Foggy Dreams shifts very wide and comes with a big, big run this day. So these two, very tough to separate, right? Bath and Tennis, definitely quicker than Foggy Dreams. Might get the jump on that one. But we've got a highly competitive race here in race 9. I think there's maybe 4 horses you'll work around. I threw the 2 into the mix, but you're kind of right around the same 3 as me. 7-1-5, 1-1-7-5. Unikoi has the recency, right, on the turf. But Foggy Dreams, I think, is going to be able to get up in the shadow of the wire.
Foggy Dreams, always tough. Or Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. Yeah, I have a little emotional attachment to Unikoi. I trained her sire, Gato Pardo, so I had to have that one on top. I probably did this one with my heart more than my head. But I like her. Look, she's reliable. She's a 10-time winner, 8-time winner on the turf. She knows how to get the job done. And coming out of Gulfstream Park, where she just ran as recently as March 21st, coming up to this cooler air. I love that angle, so I'm going to stick with her. As we move to race 10, our final race of the afternoon, going 3/4 of a mile for 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3. And your top pick is the 4, Commanding General for Anthony Ferrier, who will be getting back to a fast racetrack this afternoon.
Yeah, take a shot here because Bernie's on fire. I've got lined at 1-2, might be 1-5, right, with the Claudio factor. There is some other speed to maybe keep Bernie's on fire company. I think Commanding General coming back to a fast track. He has the ability to sit just off of it. He's shown it in the past. Maybe he can get enough of a setup to go by.
Bernie's on fire. I have on top is my single. Last 2 races, wow, jumped up and ran some big races with some gaudy numbers.
Gaudy numbers, and now we're going to drop right to the 10, saying, here we go. If you want to, go ahead. And there's a dare if I've ever seen it, right, with Bernie's on fire. Yeah, I'll try to beat him 4-2. They're the shots, I think. The 7, I don't know what to make of him. I've expected better of him of late. He just hasn't put it together.
Yeah, no, he's fallen off his form.
He's fallen off the form. But maybe Commanding General or 7+7 to rally past.
Yep, but a trainer change here with Galazzo going to Jamie Ness. He's good first off the claim, 31% first with the trainer. first with Jamie Ness. So that horse could turn around. I mean,
Sure.
it certainly has the talent and has the numbers
Yep.
to get it done. That will do it for our 10-race card this afternoon. We're going to have a lot of excitement. But right now, let's move to the lightning round. So yesterday, Keith, we had everything but the lightning and thunder. We had a lot of wind here in Baltimore. We ended up canceling the card after 3 races. It was simply the right thing to do.
Yeah, I tell you, going out to my car after the races and just walking out there was just pushing you back. I mean, I don't know, the horses, the jockeys, everybody involved, the whole crew here. There were some very difficult circumstances to deal with. So, yeah.
It was
I
unfortunate.
wouldn't want to have been on top of a horse or,
No.
or anything. Just being outside, it was tough yesterday.
It was unfortunate we lost the card, but
Yep.
safety first, no doubt about that. And it was absolutely the right call. All right, it's time. It's commitment time there, Keith. We're going to talk about the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
And we're going to look at both of our picks here this afternoon for the Kentucky Derby. And, oh, wow, we're pretty similar. Look at that.
Yeah.
Keith, we both have the 15 Rock Your World on top. He just simply looks like the fastest horse in the race.
Yeah, I talked to my buddy Scott Johnson in California, going way back. There's California speed, and then there's that other speed, right?
Right.
The speed that we think we see in the East Coast and the Midwest, and these horses get cranked up out there. This horse necessarily is a horse that doesn't need to lead. Like his breeding, I think he can carry it. I don't think he needs the inside or anything like that. I think he can just track and just keep going and going and going. Sadler, quietly confident about this runner. I love the post position draw. Yeah, you think it's some bad karma. Rosario back on, had to take the other jock off. But I'm good with Rock Your World. Stay clear of trouble. I think he can grind it out.
The only concern I have about Rock Your World is he's had 2 races on the turf. He got to the lead on the dirt for the first time. I'm worried. My only concern is, has he been schooled in dirt? Because if he doesn't get to the front, he's going to be taking dirt that he's never taken before in a race, and that could be a bit of a consideration for Rock Your World. I'm a little concerned about that. That's just my trainer thing coming out in me.
Yep.
I hope he's been well schooled on the turf. You like the 11 Dynamic 1 in your exacta for Todd Pletcher coming out of the Wood Memorial where he just got beat.
Yeah, doesn't really have any gaudy, buyer figures and some of the other handicapping tools you might use, but he looks to me like a horse is just cycling at the right time, getting on a good race. I've watched some of the videos in the morning and from Works. He looks really, really good. You got one of the Ortiz boys on and did what I like to see horses do. Slow pace last time. He was out wide against it every step of the way, but he moved comfortably into it, just got tagged at the wire. Gets a little bit more flow here. You might even see a sharper run from Dynamic One at a big price. So I think Pletcher's loaded. You got some horses with some big prices that you're going to have to use, but this is my top one out of his group.
We both use the known agenda. We'll go back to my not the 9-horse Hot Rod Charlie, but we're on to Pletcher. We both use known agenda. I think I would have used the known agenda a little bit better, but boy, he draws a 1 hole, and that can always be a problem.
Yeah, if somebody, I've called a lot of charts down there at Churchill Downs. I've called, I think, like 10 derbies, and it's a nightmare. It's been a nightmare for those horses that draw down inside usually year. And we've got the newer gate though now. Certainly should help him a little bit. He doesn't have a ton of speed just to his outside. So those first 10, 15 jumps are going to be critical for him. He's got the right kind of rider, though, right? I ride Ortiz. He wins
no
some
doubt
races.
about that.
Yep. And
No
the blinkers have gone on. He's turned into a different horse with the blinkers.
No doubt about that. The 9 Hot Rod Charlie, who I have in my exacta for Doug O'Neill. Flavian Pratt gets the call here. Hey, won the Louisiana Derby. Was pretty impressive doing it. There was plenty of speed in that race.
Yep.
I like these horses coming out of that race going 1 mile and 3/16.
Yeah. He's got that bottom out of that race, that longer stretch down there. Just turned away every challenge. Didn't have to go terribly fast, but did pretty good that second quarter. Was strong and third quarter. So Hot Rod Charlie, yeah, Doug O'Neill, he's pretty familiar with this too. So he's got the right kind of horse. Some good stories. I think Jay Pridman wrote an article you definitely want to check out concerning the connections and everything with Hot Rod Charlie.
We have to talk about what will probably be your favorite, the 14 you have on your ticket, Essential Quality. My question about Essential Quality is, does a mile and a quarter catch up with him?
It may, and is he kind of who he is right now? Or one of these horses just going to jump up and run a race? It's just, a little bit better than what they've been doing. Essential Quality hasn't made that big leap, especially from numbers wise. But man, he just looks like that old pro kind of horse. You throw him out
No
there
doubt
and he
about
knows what to do. He's going to fight you tooth and nail. You can't really terribly knock him.
You can't.
And I can't leave him out of my exotics. I just can't.
I left him off. The distance is a real issue for
Okay.
me. I didn't like his work on April 24th.
Okay.
And Brad Cox says, well, he's not a great workhorse. This is the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he is. That could be the absolute truth. But, yeah, when you're undefeated, you're 5 for 5. You've already earned $2.6 million. You're doing something right. So, I'm leaving him off. But
Okay.
leave him off at your own peril. You also like the 11 a bit. Well, we talked about the 11. Of course, I like the 10, Midnight Bourbon for Steve Asmussen, coming out of that same Louisiana Derby behind Hot Rod Charlie. I think this one's eligible to move forward. But in the last 2 races, this horse has run quite well.
Yeah, and we've seen these derbies. I mean, usually, you have to go back maybe to Orb. Looking at horse, you want to be kind of forward, leaving that 3/8 pole, and from there, it's just kind of that. I'd say a little bit of procession, but you don't see really horses kind of coming out of the clouds, but stayers, and just like a horse you mentioned, Midnight Bourbon looks like that kind of horse and can kind of stay up with the pace and just keep going,
grinding away,
and grind it away. So maybe the pace falls apart in this one, but. It's been pretty much status quo. You want to be that stalking position or on the lead, turning for home. Yeah, that's what's worked here in recent derbies.
Gets Mike Smith this afternoon for the first time. That is going to do it for Keith and myself. We're about 31 minutes out from race 1. Dave Rodman will be up next with scratches and changes.
You got it. Good luck and enjoy Derby Day.